She was China's first empress, the first empress dowager, and ultimately the first female ruler of the Chinese Empire. In the records of the grand historian Shiji, she was granted the rare honor of being ranked alongside emperors. Yet, behind such brilliance lay a pathologically deep-seated insecurity, a streak of hysterical vengeance, and a soul scarred by countless betrayals. To understand this, we must look back at her somewhat unexpected marriage. In 221 BC, the first emperor of Qin had just unified the Six Kingdoms, yet undercurrents of rebellion stirred across the land. A wealthy man named Lu Gong, fleeing from enemies, moved his entire family from Shanfu in Dang Commandery to Pei County in Sishui Commandery. Lu Gong had a second daughter named Lu Ji. Born into a prestigious family and well-educated, she was young and beautiful. In the marriage market of the time, she could have had countless elite choices. Even the governor of Pei County had personally proposed to her. However, Lu Gong made a decision that shocked everyone. He married Lu Ji to a 41-year-old neighborhood head, Tingjiang, named Liu Bang. At that time, Liu Bang was not only 20 years her senior, but was also a notorious local rogue. He loved free meals, drank heavily, and already had an illegitimate son, Liu Fei. Later, historians tried to deify Liu Bang, claiming Lu Gong saw royal features in Liu's face through physiognomy. But, stripping away the veneer of myth, the truth was likely far more brutal. As a newly arrived outsider, Lu Gong desperately needed local protection. Although Liu Bang held a minor office, he was a grassroots leader with immense influence in modern terms. He was the local godfather. Lu Ji became the strategic collateral for the Lu family to integrate locally and trade for safety. From that moment on, her life was inextricably bound to this 41-year-old rogue. After the marriage, Lu Ji displayed incredible resilience. She cast aside her status as a wealthy lady, managing the household and working the fields, eventually bearing Liu Bang a son and a daughter. However, during a mission to escort prisoners, Liu Bang allowed them to escape and fled into the marshes, becoming a wanted fugitive of the imperial court. While Liu Bang escaped, Lu Ji was branded the family of a rebel, thrown into prison, and even suffered harassment and insults from officials. Despite this, she did not abandon him. She raised their children alone, cared for her father-in-law, and periodically risked her life to bring food to Liu Bang in the mountains. To stabilize the hearts of Liu Bang's followers, Lu Ji even personally helped craft a political myth. She claimed that no matter where Liu Bang hid, she could find him by following the dragon-shaped clouds in the sky. At this point, Lu Ji was not just Liu Bang's wife. She was the architect of his divine mandate and his most steadfast co-conspirator. She staked everything, her status, wealth, and faith, on Liu Bang. As the world fell into chaos and Liu Bang rose in rebellion, the slaying of the White Serpent, the Lu family made their second critical capital injection. Lu Ji's elder brothers, Lu Zhe and Lu Shiji, joined Liu Bang's army with retainers, money, and armed forces. Liu Bang's close friend Fan Kuai, a former butcher, married Lu Ji's sister, Lu Shu, becoming Liu Bang's brother-in-law and his most loyal core supporter. Lu Zhe, Lu Shiji, and Fan Kuai fought valiantly in Liu Bang's early battles, saving his life on multiple occasions. For instance, at the feast at Hong Gate, it was Fan Kuai who charged into the banquet with a shield, intimidating Xiang Yu and allowing Liu Bang to escape. After Liu Bang's disastrous defeat at Pengcheng, it was Lu Zhe's 30,000 troops that allowed him to stabilize his position. It can be said that the total support of the Lu family was a core pillar that allowed Liu Bang to survive and ultimately win the Chuhan contention. However, Lu Ji's total devotion was met with bloody reality. In 205 BC, Liu Bang suffered a crushing defeat at Pengcheng. His 560,000-strong coalition was routed by Xiang Yu's 30,000 cavalry. As Liu Bang fled in his carriage, he repeatedly kicked his own biological son and daughter off the vehicle to make it faster for the horses. Lu Ji and Liu Bang's father were not as lucky. They were captured by Xiang Yu and held as hostages in the Chu camp for 28 agonizing months. While in the Chu camp, Lu Ji heard news that chilled her heart. When Xiang Yu threatened to boil Liu Bang's father alive, Liu Bang shouted back from the opposite bank with a smile, "Please send me a bowl of the soup." This incident made Lu Ji realize completely that in Liu Bang's eyes, neither fatherly love nor the bond of a first wife meant anything compared to victory. If even his father and children were expendable, what was she? During those dark years of captivity, only Shen Shiqi from Pei County remained by her side. This shared trauma made Shen Shiqi one of the very few people Lu Ji would ever fully trust. She realized that in this world, the only thing she could rely on was herself and the power she held in her hands. When Liu Bang and Xiang Yu reached a peace treaty at the Honggu Canal, Lu Ji was finally released. But when she returned exhausted to the Han camp, she found not compensation, but deeper betrayal. Liu Bang was now accompanied by the young, beautiful and talented Lady Qi. History records that Liu Bang favored Lady Qi excessively. They were inseparable. Liu Bang took this consort wherever he went, while of Lu Ji it was said, she no longer accompanied him anywhere. To make matters worse, Lady Qi bore Liu Bang another son, Liu Rui. In 202 BC, the Chu-Han contention ended. Xiang Yu was dead. Liu Bang had won the world, and a new, great dynasty, the Han dynasty, was established. As the legal wife who had shared his hardships, Lu Ji received what she was due, a title unprecedented in history, Empress. She was the first formally consecrated Empress in Chinese history. Her son, Liu Ying, was named Crown Prince. Her brothers, Lu Zhe and Lu Shiji, and her brother-in-law, Fan Kuai, were all enfeoffed as marquises for their king-making services. The Liu family's investment seemed to have yielded a 100-fold return. But this was a cold victory. On the surface, Lu Ji was the mistress of the empire, assisting Liu Bang in state affairs and demonstrating exceptional political talent. In reality, she faced an unprecedented crisis of survival. Lady Qi was not satisfied with mere favor. She actively lobbied Liu Bang to depose Lu Ji's son, Liu Ying, and name her own son, Liu Rui, as the heir. Liu Bang actually agreed, feeling that Liu Ying was too weak and that Liu Rui was more like himself. This was no mere family squabble. In the court of that era, the deposition of a crown prince almost certainly meant death for both Liu Ying and Lu Ji. When she discovered that Liu Bang was willing to sacrifice his original wife for the tears of a new lover, Lu Ji was pushed to the brink. She found that neither the youth she had sacrificed nor the blood her family had shed meant anything in the face of Liu Bang's new obsession. To protect her son's position, Lu Ji began her counterattack. She wanted to prove to the world, and especially to her husband, that she was not a weakling who could be kicked off a carriage. She targeted Han Xin, the empire's greatest general. While Liu Bang was away and hesitating over a rebellion, Lu Ji conspired with Xiao He to lure Han Xin to Changle Palace and have him executed. Next was Peng Yue, the king of Liang. When Liu Bang showed mercy by merely exiling him, Lu Ji feigned a plea for his return, then framed him for treason and had him executed. More horrifyingly, she had Peng Yue's body minced into meat paste and distributed to the various vassal kings of the empire. This was Lu Ji saying to every ambitious soul in the empire, "This is the price of betraying me." It was also a message to her husband, "The dirty work you dare not do, I will do. The people you dare not kill, I will kill." You thought I was weak? Now, look at who the real ruthless player is." But even this was not enough. Liu Bang, knowing his time was short, accelerated the steps to replace the crown prince. Finally, following the advice of the strategist Zhang Liang, Liu Ji invited the 4 sages of Mount Shang, holy men whom even the emperor could not summon, to serve the crown prince. When Liu Bang saw these 4 sages standing behind Liu Ying, he knew that Liu Ji's political wings were fully grown, and he could no longer touch the air. He sang the sorrowful Song of the Great Swan, Honghu Ge, to Lady Qi, admitting his defeat. The great swan takes to the sky, vanishing into the clouds. Its wings are strong enough now to span the 4 seas. With the world beneath its wings, what can be done? The hunter holds his bow, but the target is out of reach. The great swan was the crown prince, Liu Ying. The wings were the political protection network Liu Ji had built for him, the 4 sages, the Liu clan, and the veteran ministers. And the hunter, holding the bow with nowhere to aim, was Liu Bang himself. The founding emperor was using his last breath to concede defeat to his rival, his wife, Liu Ji. Yet her husband's last tenderness, last tears, and last comforts were all reserved for another woman. In 195 BC, Emperor Gaozu, Liu Bang, passed away in Changle Palace. At the moment of his death, Liu Ji's first reaction was not grief, but stabilization. She even briefly considered keeping the death a secret and executing all founding ministers to ensure a smooth transition of power, only relenting after the persuasion of the veteran Li Shang. Liu Ji became the Empress Dowager, and her son Liu Ying ascended the throne. Now, the Empress exited the stage, and the monster emerged. Her first target for liquidation was Lady Qi. She cut off Lady Qi's hair and forced her to wear prisoner's rags while grinding grain in the Ever Alley, Yongxiang. When Lady Qi sang a mournful song, hoping for help from her son Liu Ruyi, Liu Ji's rage exploded. She first poisoned the 13-year-old Liu Ruyi, then subjected Lady Qi to a gruesome torture. She gouged out her eyes, scorched her ears to deafness, forced her to drink a potion that made her mute, severed her limbs, and threw her into a latrine, calling her the human pig. When the young Emperor Liu Ying saw this and learned it was the former Lady Qi, he collapsed. He accused his mother, "This is not the act of a human," and from then on, he turned to wine, abandoned governance, and died in sorrow at the age of 23. Liu Ying's death did not slow Liu Ji down. At his funeral, she wailed without shedding a single tear until Chen Ping suggested that her nephews, Liu Chan and Liu Lu, be given command over the northern and southern armies. Only then did she show a look of satisfaction. To maintain control over the court, she took a son born to Liu Ying and a palace maid, claimed him as the Empress's own, and killed the child's biological mother. From this moment, Empress Liu formally exercised imperial prerogative, Lin Chao Chengji. She was the de facto first female ruler of China. Her edicts were issued in her own name without the need for an emperor's voice. During her decade-plus reign, the empire knew only Empress Liu, not the emperor. Even the records of the grand historian did not record the name of the first child emperor she installed, showing his utter insignificance. Perhaps driven by deep-rooted insecurity, in the later stages of her reign, Empress Liu frantically promoted the Liu clan. She broke Liu Bang's sacred oath that only those of the Liu clan shall be kings, enfeoffing Liu Chan, Liu Lu, and others as kings, and even naming her sister Liu Shu a marquise. Meanwhile, she ruthlessly suppressed Liu Bang's other sons. Liu Bang's eldest illegitimate son, Liu Fei, saw his kingdom of Qi forcefully partitioned into 5 pieces. To maintain absolute control, or perhaps out of a retaliatory desire for dominance, she adopted a sinister strategy, forcing Liu princes to marry Liu women. Liu Yu, the king of Zhao, was starved to death in his Chang'an mansion after being framed by his Lu wife because he favored other consorts. Liu Hui, the king of Liang, committed suicide in despair after his beloved consort was poisoned by his Lu queen. After the death of Lu Jian, the king of Yan, Empress Lu sent assassins to kill his only heir and appointed Lu Tong as the new king of Yan. By 180 BC, the military and administrative power of the entire empire had almost entirely fallen into the hands of the Lu clan. However, the peak of power is often the beginning of the end. In March of that year, while on an excursion, Empress Lu felt herself struck in the armpit by a black dog and fell ill. Divination suggested it was the ghost of Liu Rui seeking revenge, but in reality, she had likely been bitten by a rabid dog and contracted rabies. Months later, this woman who had once held the world in her hands, whose hands were stained with blood, but who had also struggled to survive in a chaotic age, passed away at the pinnacle of her power. Empress Lu's life was a tragedy of sacrifice turned to distortion. She was once the resilient woman working the fields, suffering in prison, and held hostage in the Chu camp. Had Liu Bang given her even a shred of security, had the logic of power in that era not been kill or be killed, perhaps she would not have become the monster of history. She killed the founders, deposed young emperors, and created the human pig names that have haunted her for 2,000 years. Yet it is undeniable that she was a gifted ruler. Under her reign, the Han Empire received a precious chance to breathe after years of war. Even official histories must admit that although she ruled from the shadow, the empire was peaceful and the people lived in prosperity. It was a woman's revenge, a mother's madness, and a microcosm of an era, a desolate soul alienated by power and ultimately assimilated by it.